Okay, let's have a bit of a workout, shall we? So this is from a workout that I did outdoors, as you can clearly see, and it's out in the countryside, close to where we live. But besides the fact that it was about -2, -3 degrees Celsius, it was a good opportunity to have a workout because it was dry. So always make sure that whenever you're training, regardless whether it's indoors or outdoors, it's irrelevant. Always make sure you have a good warm up, particularly in the winter time. And again, regardless of whether you're training indoors or outdoors, when it's winter time, your body is traditionally a little bit cooler and colder from the weather outside, the conditions and the environment. So you want to make sure you have a great workout, or warm up, I should say, before your workout. And you'll see this particular movement I'm doing here now is basically just getting the hips, the ankles, the knees, and the shoulders and the lower back nice and mobile and loosened up a little bit without putting too much stress on the body. Now I'm just warming up the shoulders, so I have my hands in a clenched position with my thumbs facing forward. My feet are close together and I'm pushing my feet outwards. I'm imagining I'm pushing my feet outwards as I'm doing these short little circular motions, and I'm doing approximately 40 of these. I typically do around 40, and then I just get the shoulders nice and warmed up, and then I relax them a little bit. And then I move into a reverse rotational movement after doing some forward swings. I'll take my hands, I'll reverse my hand position so my palms are facing up, thumbs are still facing back, and I'm reversing the movement. And then I'm pushing my feet inward. By pushing the feet out and pushing the feet in, not only am I working the shoulders, but I'm also activating those glute muscles, the muscles in the bum, the hips, the lower back, and the legs, primarily the legs and the bum. All right, so I'm activating those muscles in a static contraction position. All right, or static contraction. So it's just getting the blood flowing through those legs whilst I'm warming up my shoulders. Just doing some nice rotational movements to make sure that my scapula is also loose as well. And then I'm going to start doing a movement where I'm stretching between the shoulder blades and the front of the shoulders and the anterior part of the shoulders. So you place your hands on the side of the head by the temple with your thumb facing down towards the floor. And then you just literally squeeze the elbows as best that you can together, and then open up and fly them open as much as you possibly can. So as you squeeze them in the front, you're going to feel the stretch at the back of the shoulders, between the shoulder blades and underneath the armpit. And then once you open up those elbows, you're going to really feel them squeezing at the back and the front of the deltoids. The top of the chest is going to stretch and open up nicely. You can do about 15 of those, 15 to 20 or so, because otherwise it just becomes your shoulders start to fatigue thereafter. Now, bands. I love working with bands, whether it's a stretch after a workout, a warm-up before a workout, even during a workout, specific exercises. I love working with rubber bands. And with the band movement, it's band warm-up like this particular one here now. I'm just doing a sequence of movements, and one movement on both sides, if you will, and I'm just stretching the triceps, the lats down the side of the back, the hip, the ITB area, that band, that stretch that moves all the way from your hip all the way down through your knee and down to your foot. I'm just giving that a slight little warm up, if you will, or waking that band up, the ITB band, iliotibial band. And then I'm stretching obviously the shoulders, the triceps, and the side of the back. Now I'm just doing a nice deep stretch throughout the shoulder blade or throughout the shoulder joint itself. Make sure when you're doing this kind of movement like this that you're standing evenly positioned in both feet and your knees are slightly bent. So the same applies for this movement here too. Your weight should be distributed evenly in both feet, knees slightly bent, and then you're just literally turning the body from side to side. So you're pulling the hands apart from each other. The key here is that there's always tension in that band. And then you just as you're pulling the hands apart from each other, you just turn your body, and you'll feel that you don't need to work. It's just by having those hands pulled apart from each other and then turning the body from side to side, it gets those core muscles activated, the lower back muscles activated. So everything around that core area is working a lot harder than it would normally do if you were just turning your body from side to side without that tension in the arms. And then I just repeat the process again. So I do 3 on each side, nice and slowly, no rushing, nice easy movement. Okay, just holding for about 1 or 2 seconds. because this is an active warm-up stretch. I'm not holding it for much longer than that, because otherwise then I'm in a cool down stretching mode, if you will. Okay, stimulation for the body. And again, just nice deep shoulder rotation, and then I bring it back to the front again, about shoulder height, and then I take the band and I stretch my arms out from side to side. I push them apart from each other, and then I just turn my body from side to side without actually really having to do any work, because the mere fact that I'm pulling my arms apart, I'm having a static contraction, static movement, static activation, I should say, in my arms and my shoulders and my upper back and my chest. And then by turning my body from side to side, I'm activating those core muscles. And then I come down into a nice deep squat just to mobilize my ankles, my knees, and my hips again. Although I'm not going to be working my legs or my lower extremities, we're going to be working chest and a little bit of tricep in this workout. I still want to make sure that my hips and my ankles and my knees are mobile and warmed up. Okay, so let's get ready to train, shall we? So we're going to be doing a chest workout, as I'm sure you know by now. And on my 40 Pro here, you can use a TRX or any kind of other suspension trainer that you may have. But I have a 40 Pro, and this is a version of the 40 Pro without my lambda bands. This is just a static, the static part of it. So it's stimulating working with a TRX, for example. Okay, it's a static band or static straps. Now, when you're starting off with any type of movements, okay, make sure that you start off nice and slow. So you want to try to go for like around about a 4-second movement, both on your your positive and negative movement, and then you just take it nice and slowly for around about 12-15 repetitions. And then in the second set, and there on in, you will basically your active motion or your concentric motion, you speed up the pace a little bit, all right? And then on your negative, you keep it slow. And then from your third set, fourth set or so, your active motion is what the term I'm looking for is basically it's an explosive movement, and then you back down in your negative, you go back nice and slow, or at least in a controlled movement, controlled motion. You don't want your negative where your body just drops. Okay, that can cause injuries. So your positive movement, your active movement is explosive, and then your negative movement, where you come back down again, you keep it nice and slow and controlled, up to 4 seconds at a time. And then you make sure you're doing enough different types of movements for your chest, or any type of body part for that matter, that you get enough stimulus for it. So you're not just doing the same exercises all the time, but you're switching things up a little bit. So in this workout, I'm doing 3 different chest exercises here, but from time to time, I will always, from each workout to the next, I switch up the movements, I switch up the exercises. So the body's always having to think about what I'm going to be doing. It's not getting settled into one specific pattern or rhythm, all right? And here in this particular movement, like this here, you'll see the hands are in front of me slightly. So I'm doing like a normal push-up or a chest press, if you will. I'm making sure my body's nice and flat. I'm not elevating my hips too high. So I'm not using my back and my hips to help me get up. I'm using only my arms and my chest to move. And then I keep the band slightly in front of me. So as I push up, my hands are moving forward slightly at the same time. And now we're going to move into triceps. So this is a great tricep exercise here. I just extend the 40 Pro so it's lower to the ground. And then what I'm doing is I'm just keeping my body weight moving forward. I got my elbows facing down towards the floor. And then I'm just lowering the elbows further down. And then my head comes down towards my hands. And I keep those elbows tucked in nice and tight. Now for this workout, particularly for me, I did 2 different tricep exercises, but I'm only showing you one here because you've done chest, and especially if you're a beginner, you don't really need to do more than 1 or 2 exercises if you're a beginner and you've done a large muscle like a chest, and then you're working triceps. So you just literally have to do 1 exercise for triceps as a beginner. Thereafter, you can move to 2 or 3 further, depending on your ability and how long you've been training for. All right, because those tricep muscles have already been stimulated. And then to finish off, always make sure you have a nice good stretch at the end. So try to do a stretch, and that's applicable to the muscles that you've been working out. So for example, here's here's a lat and a tricep stretch. So I've been working triceps, so I'm stretching my triceps here, but I'm also stretching the side of my back and my hips just to keep them loose a little bit. It's not that important for the workout. I've been doing my back, and you'll see in the beginning of this stretch routine, I was stretching the front of my, my chest, my upper chest, my lower chest, and my shoulders as well. Because when you're working with chest, for example, you incorporate a lot of shoulder movement or shoulder muscle in the movements that you're doing. And then just again, make sure with your stretches, you're breathing deeply, concentrating, focus on what you're doing, and take it nice and slow. Well done.